Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is your friendly neighborhood techno wizard. I am here to do more on the subject of magic and risk, but let's get to the business. Let's get to the standard business. Please like, share, subscribe. Comment in the comment section. Tell me if I'm doing right. Tell me if I'm doing wrong. Tell me if you think I'm full of crap. And by the way, the images in the background are from my Raspberry Pi, which I bought recently. My kids love it. I get like 1,000 old games, and I can just sit there and play them. It's awesome. And yeah, I figured I'd put it in the background because it's kind of cool. I mean, I remember growing up on some of these games. All right, that being said, we're going to get into magic here today. Now, there are some interesting pictures from the Rift books, and here's one of them I like. This really shows like the kind of magical city aspect. You've got the Laszlo, New Laszlo, magical town somewhere, Tolkien, Stormspire, which is really just like an evil, greedy corporation that makes magical weapons. But hey, they make what they promise. And the City of Brass, which is essentially in Mammoth Cave and Pocket Dimension. It's kind of what the way to go. Now, we're going to be doing magic, so I'd like to bring this up. This is the classic image of a magic wielder. This is literally a ley line walker. Walking on a ley line. Go figure. All right, so now down to brass tacks. Here we go. Understanding magic. This is where I'm going to go over the nuts and bolts of the whole thing and the technology. All right, magic spells, rituals, summoning, and special OCC powers. Yeah, that's kind of how they break it down. It works. Spell magic. Spells require spoken incantation, basically the movie thing of Ishkabibble and hand gestures. That's why if you really want to stop a mage from doing something nasty, you simply stop his fingers, or you put a gag in his mouth. If you see there's some images of coalition soldiers arresting a mage, and yeah, he's got these little things in his hands that make his probably hold his fingers still. And there's usually a gag in his mouth so he can't speak. That prevents the kind of magic. But, as I would say, sucks to be you. But that's spell magic. Then there's here we go, ritual or spell magic. Ritual and ceremonial magic is kind of like, you see the picture above it. It is the proverbial, either a circle in the ground, a couple of magic symbols, or chanting, or that falls into that evil guy with the bone headdress, give me your power, all that kind of stuff. But it's a ceremony. During ceremonies, you can like kind of build PPE. They usually require a lot of, this is when you need like a lot of PPE, like to open a dimensional portal or something like that, or break something out. Yeah. That being said, that's what it is. It is ritualistic, i.e. symbols, blood on the head, that kind of, just take all your, movie tropes of bad guys doing bad things to help us little victims on a sacrificial altar. That's kind of it. That's the ritual magic. Then you have summoning. Summoning is what shifters do. They summon something forth to do their bidding. And with shifters, that can get real interesting because there's the whole Battle of Wills thing, and then there's the whole, does it actually do? And it's like, I summon forth a hedgehog. The hedgehog then does what I tell it to do. Or I summon some fawn from somewhere. I know how to do that. And this being does what I want it to do. Well, does it stick around in our dimension or doesn't it? And there's all that kind of weird stuff that goes along with it. Is it angry at me? Most of these creatures don't like being summoned. They don't like being controlled by the summoner. So that can always, by the way, that is always a fun thing to turn around when some guy thinks he's, some summoner guy thinks I'm going to whip up some willing hellhound. Well, okay, you whipped it up. It's pissed at you. You tell it, I want you to go forth and burn my enemies. And the thing turns around and goes, no, you look tasty. That's always a fun one to do. Especially if you like, I've had my heroes get pretty much beat by the guy and they couldn't stop a ritual. And so when I had to come out, I rolled. I actually took my little dice app and I rolled, and it was like a 1. 20. D20. 1. Critical failure. Well, the monster he thought he summoned didn't show up. However, a giant angel decided to show up. So, sucks for him. Really sucked for him. And yeah, the angel turns around and destroys him with the sword, the flaming sword, and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of funny. I didn't intend for that to happen. I actually thought that the characters were going to have to run away, regroup, and then go back. But that's what happens. Summoning's kind of fun to do. You know, some characters like doing it. I don't. It's good characters usually don't. But, you know, shifters is one of these things. Now, you're going to get down into OCC powers. These are unique abilities to each and every OCC. How do I phrase it? They're just unique to each one. They have their own rules. They have their own sets of rules, which is why as a GM you kind of have to know all this stuff. It's one of those things where it's, you know, it gets difficult. But that's special OCCs. Each one of those I'll go over when I go over the OCC. All right, magical terms. Area of effect is what it is. I cast Carpet of Adhesion. Carpet of Adhesion sticks to the ground, sticks you to the ground. It magically sticks you there. It's not like you can pull yourself up. It's not like you pull up a chunk of ground. Well, you pull up a chunk of concrete, but you know, you're stuck there. It magically holds you in place. Duration. Self-explanatory. How long it lasts. Sometimes a couple seconds, sometimes instant, and sometimes days or weeks. All right, and level of experience. Caster, the level of experience usually indicates how powerful it is, i.e. if you are 10, you're much better at doing this spell than a level 1. That's how it works, guys. You know, if you're Gandalf, yeah, if you're a level 1 mage like, I don't know, Willow, it's not going to work quite as well. Line of sight. Line of sight, there are several spells that actually require you to see target. Some don't. Most do. I mean, if you think about it, you can't cast lightning bolt and not see the guy. You don't know where he is. Or fireball that comes from your hand. If you can't see the guy, you can't hit him. But a lot of them require line of sight. This can be a fairly long line of sight or a fairly short one. However, it's kind of the tactic that works. Range. Yes, these things do have a range of effect. Essentially, at the end of that range, they kind of peter out and turn into nothing. Now, there's a level there with certain things. Like if a guy is at 59 feet and it says 58 feet, okay, it might still hit him. As a GM, you kind of play that one as is. But yeah, basically, range. How far it can go. Touch means they actually have to touch you to do it. They have to go click, bang, oop, ouch, that hurt, and you know, like healing, you can be a couple feet away, I think. But that's how it works. All right, now we're down to touch spell strength. This is how powerful the spell is, and you have a personal spell strength. There's a lot of things that say spell strength +1. That makes it, I think, harder to resist. When you do, like, you standardly have a spell to resist spells. Magic is, the base strength attack or spell magic is 12. This is the number of victim magic needs to roll on a 22 save against magic. If you are more powerful, your spell strength, like there's an indicator on your spell strength +1. So that would mean you would need, if you get this +1, 13, and when you get higher levels, it goes 14, 15, 16, and then it goes up. So it basically becomes harder for people to resist whatever magic you know. It's kind of fun. And it makes kind of sense, you know? All right, now saving throws. Saving throws versus magic, i.e. people normally get a resistance to agony or any other spell they can resist. They can attempt to resist. They can attempt to not resist. Like somebody casts healing on you, I don't know why you'd want to resist. But successful saving throw means that it has no effect or reduced effect depending on the spell. Failed roll. Failed to save magic roll means the spell has full effect. It's going to be self-explanatory. For save against magical attacks, roll D-side 20 and must be better than the magic defense. Always ties against, you know, blah, 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 blah. Basically standard kind of stuff. Save versus magical attack. Okay, he misses. Canceling magic. Interrupting the spell. Like when the guy's doing the sacrificial ritual and he's crossing the crescendo and you right in the face. Yeah, that probably distracts him and makes him break his thing, making him have to restart all over again. Force mage to stop mage again, and again start from the beginning. Like I said, you distract him. I don't know. The guy comes up and punches him in the face. Something shocks his foot. You set his cloak on fire. Ritual magic, although more powerful, is also more fragile. Yeah, basically, like I said, guy's got the knife above the girl. I call on the power of booba dooba doo and ishkabibble, and boom, you stop him. Okay, the whole thing kind of falls apart. And there's also the negate magic spell or ritual can also be used to cancel and stop spells. And this is one of those other things where, there's certain spells you negate technology, negate magic, negate sleem chart, whatever. There are spells that do that negate other spells, or just generally negate things. And there's also psionic abilities, but they clash sometimes. Now, here's one of the things you have to interpret in a tech magic psionic setting, in the futuristic sci-fi setting that this is. Technology has its effects on magic, and vice versa. Magic can negate technology, da-da-da-da-da. As one would put it, people who don't have magic, have technology, knows guns work, they can't use magic. A mage can still use a gun, which kind of gives a mage a little bit better of an advantage, but he has to be more connected to the world. Right here we go into mage there. Well, truly rely heavily on magic powers. Natural abilities. How do I phrase this? You can't cast magic sealed inside a giant iron dome. It just doesn't work that way. Like bionics and cybernetic implants will severely reduce your PPE, almost destroy it at a certain point. Like there is a Momo headhunter, which is this interesting kind of crossbreed. But for the most part, if you have like a cybernetic arm, your PPE gets disappearing. If you have, and that's one of the things the Coalition uses to stop mages. They literally will install bionics. They have a whole bionic arm. They can no longer draw PPE from the world around them. That kind of cuts them off from that magic, which is horrifyingly bad and torturous, and probably why the Coalition does it. It's called effectiveness. You also have wearing body armor. Now, this is kind of one of those things that balances everything out. A mage kind of is not allowed to be in full body armor. They're not allowed to wear like a ultra heavy suit of MDC body armor. It just doesn't work that way. It cuts them off. Magic is kind of natural flowing, and they have to be connected to the earth and all that kind of stuff. Which is why, here we go again, why you'll see this mage. This is body armor. He's wearing leyline concealed body armor. It covers the chest, groin, and the upper arms, and most likely the upper legs. However, the rest of him is pretty much exposed. So if he gets hit there with a mega damage weapon, it vaporizes. Not good. But he can encase in magic. So, sucks to be him at a certain point, I guess. Now, let me do this here. Where is it? Some magic wielders can be in armor. Like, here, where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Look. Oh, here we go. Right, this one. Right down here, you can see the guy. He's kind of in what they call mage armor. It's pretty good body armor, but it is designed for mages. Like I said, there's stats here that go over it. 0 to 20% reduces spell effectiveness by blah, 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 blah. Spell duration by da-da-da-da. Reduces, basically, costs more PB. It interferes with it. What you probably want to use is light material. Or the other thing you can do is there's a number of magical materials that don't interfere with magic. Like MDC wood. Millennium Tree wood is a really good one. There's also things like... this is the dark one. It is Necromancy. They can shape bone into a chess piece, and then they cast bone to MDC material. And that effectively makes the bone MDC armor. Harder to repair. What was it? One of the best ones was for a mage was to have like leyline body armor on, which is the partial covering stuff, and then an Armor of Ithran spell built in by a techno wizard. That makes it easier. There's also things like if you can find it, like MDC leather. Like in the Old West, they have MDC leather. They've got dinosaurs, so they basically harvest the dinosaur MDC skin, tan and hide it, cut it into a suit or poncho or anything that's has MDC protection. Those materials don't interfere. They're far less protective than a full environmental body armor, but they work better for mages. And trying to cast, like, one of the things like you'll see characters do is, I'm inside the tank, I cast magic. No, you can't do that. You can't cast from inside the vehicle. You have to kind of be outside it. Let me put it this way. If you've got a group and you got one mage, and he's going to start, shooting fireballs or whatever. Okay, pop a hatch. He's exposed, but he can use his abilities. So, like here, it says, impossible causing magic effect into strike inside the vehicle. I.e., do not do this with, like, casting, like, carpet of adhesion. Because basically, it doesn't go outside the vehicle. It basically goes inside the vehicle. So if you're sitting down, your hands are touching your steering wheel, you're not letting go of that steering wheel until the duration ends or the mage cancels it. Fireball, electrical arc be a real bad one to do inside a vehicle. Or explosive fireball, that would be even worse because you'd hit everybody in the crowd. Like here's the funny thing is, like I said before, the exceptions to the exception to welcomed use of technology coming from the supernatural, blah blah blah, fairy folk, blah blah blah. They're all man machines; they don't like it. But mages, like humans and other ones, will use a laser gun. They know it works. It's a good backup. They'll more rely on their magical abilities, but they will do the other thing. All right, now here we go into, actually, I'm going to save this for next time, casting spells and combat magic, but this is just magic and its effects and technology. Yeah, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much for your time. The next episode will come up soon. Again, like, share, subscribe. Check me out on Rumble. That's where I'm mainly posting, and I start off posting, and Gabs and Getter and all that kind of stuff. Please check me out there. Say hi. Subscribe on Rumble. We've got a couple good viewers on there, but and as I've said before, I have worked with Fergal, and I do know Chad the man.